that. The Richard Pryor box set, and it's Deep 2, the complete Warner Brothers recordings, 1968 to 1992. It's a 9-disc set that was put out, I think, in 2000. And when this was put out, I think it was like maybe $80. But now you can get it really cheap, like brand new. I think you can get this for like $30, which is a great deal. And I think they put out a couple years after that, maybe actually more than, maybe like 2013, I think they put out sort of a truncated version of this called like the Complete Warner Brothers albums or something like that. And it doesn't have the final disc on here and the first disc on here, so those aren't included. But like I said, you can get this $30, really good deal to pick up if you're a fan of Richard Pryor, you don't have his stuff. I highly recommend this. So let's dig in and see what's in here, shall we? You take the box off, and we've got, this is the booklet that comes with it. Really good, actually. It's pretty, decent size. It's got a lot of interviews, kind of like a timeline of his career and life. Some interviews, some little, lots of photographs and everything. Really cool. It's got his filmography in the back and then the disc tracks and all that. But really good job on this. I've started reading this, but I haven't finished going through this yet. But I got to dive into that. I read his autobiography he put out called Pryor Convictions a few years ago. And it's really good if you are interested in reading about his life story. I highly recommend checking that out. I recently rewatched the movie he made that's kind of loosely based on his life called JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. And I remember really liking it back in the day, but when I watched it recently, it was okay. It wasn't as good as I remember it being. So then the box, that's got the tracks and everything listed there. This is the thing that holds all the CDs, all 9 CDs. As you can see, they're the sort of like mini LP versions. That's the one thing about this set. There's a part of me that wishes they were like the CD, like jewel cases, the plastic jewel cases. I'm not a big fan of these little like digipack kind of, sleeve things, but so that's a little bit of a bummer, but I understand why they did it this way. But, so it's got all of these records here, and let's just go through these and take a look at each one of them one by one. 1968, we get his self-titled debut, Richard Pryor. The funny thing about this is the original cover of this was kind of mimicking like National Geographic, and the artist who designed this cover, he said that when the album came out, he got 2 letters in the mail, and one was from National Geographic with a cease and desist order, and the other one was from the Grammy Committee nominating this for best artwork. So that's kind of funny. This was recorded at the Troubadour. The CD, I think, I'll have to take a look. I think they're all kind of, the artwork on the CDs is all similar to this. It would have been cool if they had sort of mimicked the LP label instead of just going with like this kind of generic Rhino thing, that would have been cool, I think. All Richard Pryor's comedy albums are really good. This was originally released on Dove Records, and then I guess Reprise released it as well. 1974, we get That Blank Is Crazy. This is the album I remember. This is the album that I remember listening to. So it's got the kind of same artwork on all the CDs. But this record is the one I remember listening to when we were kids, real quiet, in friends' bedroom, so that our parents didn't hear us listening to this record. And there was one track in particular, Have Your Ass Home by 11. There's a line in that where the father, he's telling, young Richard Pryor to be home by 11. And there's a line that he says, telling him, like, you can tell time, can't you? You know, and he's like, and there's a line, he says, "The clock, motherfucker, what the clock say?" And that just cracked us up so much when we were kids, and we would just put the needle back and just play it over and over again. "The clock, motherfucker, what the clock say? The clock, motherfucker." It was just the funniest thing to us. But this, I guess, was won a Grammy. It was originally released by Stax, who I think folded, and he owned the masters to this record, and he signed a deal with Warner Brothers. So then they re-released this maybe a year later. This came out in '74, so I think they re-released it in '75 on Reprise or Warner Brothers. But really good record, you know. Again, I mean, I'm gonna say that about all these. They're all great comedy records. And this one actually went to #1 on the Billboard R&B chart, and was there, I think, like for 4 weeks or something, which is pretty interesting. I don't know what it did on the regular, you know, Hot 200 album chart or whatever, but that's pretty amazing that the comedy record, you know, going to #1 on the R&B charts. 1975, we get Is It Something I Said. This is the first record he releases now that he's signed with Warner Brothers. There's the CD. This is the debut recording of his character, his famous character, Mudbone, which was like a wino. This one I actually had on CD. I bought this years ago. It's one of the few out of all these Warner Brothers releases for Richard Pryor. This was one of the, I think it was like maybe the only one that was released previously on a CD. All these other ones I don't think were on CD before this box set. This was recorded in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and also won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album. 1976, the Bicentennial. We get Bicentennial blank. Not going to say that word. There's the CD. And this, I was reading, a lot of people consider this like his most influential record, the one, you know, that people point to, which is interesting to me because I always thought it was That Blank Is Crazy. That one always seemed to be like the album that everybody owned, that one. And I also think of the album that's not part of this set called Craps After Dark, or After Hours, I think. That one, you know, isn't part of this set. That one's the one you always think of as well. But so it was interesting for them to mention this album as a lot of people think it is most influential. But this also won the Grammy for Best Comedy Album. This was recorded mostly at the Roxy in Hollywood. I think the title track was recorded at the Comedy Store. Hey, 1978, we get Wanted, Richard Pryor live in concert. This is a double LP, I guess, so it's a double CD. They've got, this is why I don't like these digipacks. I mean, sometimes they do a good job on these digipacks, but these are kind of, I've seen them done better. So you got the 2 discs, and these, here you go, part 1, part 2. This album, I think, accompanied a concert film of his. I think that's just called Live in Concert, which I've seen. This record was also selected by the Library of Congress to be preserved for, you know, its significance. This is a really good concert film. Like, this one is really good, and Live on the Sunset Strip, which we've got right now from 1982, Live on the Sunset Strip. This is his first recording after his accident where he set himself on fire, so he discusses that quite a bit in this concert. Again, another film, great film. Check it out if you get the chance to watch it. And a great album as well, Live on the Sunset Strip. 1983, I guess it's its final concert film, Here and Now, is released. And this is the album to accompany it. I remember when the film came out of this, you know. I don't think I saw it. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I've ever seen this one. Now that I think about it, I'm not positive. This was recorded in New Orleans, but that's Richard Pryor, Here and Now. And finally, from 2000, because it's just part of this box set, is this kind of compilation unreleased stuff from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The one track on here from the 90s about MS. You know, we all know he suffered from MS at the end of his life. This is called That African American Is Still Crazy. And like I said, this is just kind of the bonus disc in this set, you know, with the unreleased bits from his career. A few years ago, I was working, I think, in Iowa, and I was driving down to Springfield, Illinois, and I went through Peoria, where he grew up, and they have a statue there of Richard Pryor that an artist put up, and I stopped there and kind of paid my respects. So that is it. That is the Richard Pryor box set. Like I said, you can find this really cheap, brand new, $30 or whatever. If you're a comedy fan and you don't own this, you have a lot of explaining to do. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Please, by all means, in the comments below, I'd love to hear your take on Richard Pryor and your maybe introduction to his comedy or any of his albums or any of your stories about listening to it really quiet so you didn't get in trouble back in the day. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.